welcome to Yummy Mummy podcast with myself, Lisa Jane. And today we have Marion Mace with us. Thank you for joining us, Marion.
Oh, thank you for having me, Lisa.
You're very welcome. Well, she is a yummy mummy herself, always finding the delicious in life. She has 3 adult children and 2 grandchildren, and she's been married 3 times, so she's an expert at relationships. And today she's going to talk to us about soul numbers. Now, this has got nothing to do with numerology. It's something totally different, and it's going to blow us out of the water. So, Marion, tell us, how did it all begin with these soul numbers?
I'll take you back a little journey and then to, 3 marriages, and not a long story, but a short story. I was back in the day when you got married really early because that's what everybody was doing. So I wanted to escape from home. So I thought, well, I'll get married. And the next thing, you're married at 20 and you're starting your kids at 21. And now look at my kids, and my daughter's got children, but the other boys haven't. I thought I was so adult at 20, but really I didn't know very much at all. And then you get in the busyness of having kids and you sort of lose who you are in the middle of all that. So about 8 years later, I realised that I was going to be a football widow and everything else. I was not evolving as a person. I just needed to leave. And I made sure that my husband and I separated because I just felt that if I got rid of him out of my life, things would be better. And then some 3 years later, I met my second husband, who I guess I married because he represented elements of my mum and dad. Not that I was conscious of that, but he was 10 years older and I thought he was secure and all the rest of it. And I went into that relationship feeling like I needed to save him because of some things that had happened to him in the past. But he had all his emotional baggage that he brought into the second relationship. And I was there for 14 years. And I remember sitting in front of the fire one day and thinking, don't you know, I'm not happy. And I tried to communicate that I wasn't happy. I even showed him my list of values that a teacher of yours and mine, Lisa, gave me to show him. And he just laughed and said, values? I can't believe you wasted your time writing this. And for me, that was the end of a very long journey because I had done some personal development and had been to a psychologist. And in fact, I was quite grateful because he sent me on my journey, my spiritual journey, my journey to find me. So when I got out of that marriage, all my friends said, that's it, you're done. You just picked the wrong people. And so I then spent the next 4 or 5 years falling in love with me. And discovering the things that I really like. So because I have been very a left brain thinker and always in the doing of things, I had to actually sit down and say to myself, what am I going to do for me today that brings me joy? And it might be just something simple like going and having a coffee or going for a walk and going to yoga. But I had to start putting those questions in my mind because I'm naturally a helper and a giver. I was also a practitioner in alternative therapies at that time too. So that's what I did. I fell in love with me. I started to write my life with a divine mission statement, all the things I wanted to turn up, lots of details and feelings. I got to travel all over the world. I attracted my own home and spent a year just putting my energy into it and creating me. And I got to a space where I felt really, really happy with my life. So happy I didn't actually need anybody in my life. And it was at that moment that just a thought occurred to me, you know what, it'd be nice if I could share it with somebody. I didn't need somebody, but it would be nice. And then my girlfriend said to me, actually, you've written that person into your divine mission statement and here he is in your life. And I said, I don't think so. He's not in the package I thought he should be. But then Soul sent me on a little journey, and this guy that I met ended up in hospital with stage 4 cancer for 6 months. So I watched him go through his little journey back to himself, and then he asked me to take him up to his magic mountain up in Bright. So that's what we did. And we just had this huge connection. My heart opened. I felt so connected, and that's how it started. And the funny thing was, we've known each other all our lives. His mother was bridesmaid at my mum's wedding. So if you look at it, there was something really pushing us along together. In fact, whatever you might call it, grand organising designer, universal life force, God, creator, was sort of pushing us together. And it was funny because at that time in my business name was M Power. And I used to work with a lot of women, helping them emotionally, going through similar things that I had. And in fact, my husband's last name is Power. And
you manifested that.
And what was great about it was just easy. It was like we'd known each other all our life. It wasn't hard. I didn't have to work at it. I could be me. I didn't have to pretend to be anything else. It was very easy. And in fact, when I was doing some, getting in my emotions, I think the first thing he said to me is, how can I support you? I nearly fell on the floor because it was the first time that anybody had ever said, I know you're going through stuff. How can I support you through it? And I thought, wow, that was just awesome.
What was he going through? Like, for you, you went through that story without speaking too much about his story, but what did he have to go through in order to meet someone like you?
So he had been a very successful businessman in the engineering and manufacturing sector. He travelled a lot and had a very big business. And then he had a relationship breakdown, which he didn't deal with at all. He got very angry and just threw himself into more work, travel, everything. And then just when we started to connect, he felt unwell, and the next thing he's in hospital and they say you've got stage 4 lymphoma and you have a 12.7 kilo tumour doubling every 24 hours. So we see a lot of people who've got cancer, and especially at the moment, there just seems everyone around us that's coming into our area of consciousness is got cancer. And we believe that cancer is a journey back to you, to find you. It's not an outside thing, it's really an inside thing. So that was his journey. He had to surrender to himself, surrender to his soul, because he wasn't listening to the language of your soul, which is your intuition. So he started to
soul numbers come. Did you guys both know about this at the time? When did that come about?
What happened then is his naturopath and his pranic teacher, because Brian's always had this spiritual side to him. He's clairvoyant, has been since he was younger, and I'm more a feeler and a knower. So when he went to his naturopath, because she had found some Russian knowledge that would help him heal quickly. So every week he'd go for a week and she'd take him through the techniques, and he started to feel an improvement. Meanwhile, I'm in my practice as in alternative therapies, and in my consciousness, in my imagination, I'm seeing matrices and number codes, and I had no idea why I was seeing numbers, but had always been fascinated. Not because I'm good at maths, don't get me wrong at that. It's just that I see patterns in numbers, and my mind's always been in the patterns. So he said, he came home and said, I think we should go to Thailand and learn from a German woman about Russian knowledge. And I sort of looked at him.
That just came with the naturopath. He just came up with that idea, came home from seeing the naturopath, listening to what she was saying about this, and...
Yeah, because he was getting results. So, and I said, absolutely not. I've just done forensic healing. And he said, they've got number codes. And I said, all right, I'm coming. So that was...
Because he knows your values. When you wrote that value up, one of them was like, I value numbers. Not that I like maths, but there's order. There's something there that's attracting you. So he caught on.
Oh, absolutely. And, just going back to the relationship, because of what we had learned, Lisa, I actually gave him my values before we actually started to get into the relationship and had the emotion. So I said, here's mine. I want to see yours. Let's negotiate before we get into the emotion.
Link up.
Yeah, link up. And that was fine because it was pretty we had similar stuff and that. But he did see where it was different. And, one of the high values is to see my grandkids. So if I want them to come over, that's not an issue. Anything I want to do with them, it's fine. So yeah, we get on pretty well. We can talk about it. And I think that's the thing, is coming back to the discussion. So, and communicating really well. So we then went to Thailand and learnt about numbers and sacred geometry and how you use your consciousness to change your internal reality and your external reality. But going back to what I was just going to talk about was your soul code, because everybody's looking for who they are and what the meaning of life is in the external world. But really the meaning of life is an internal journey. Brian discovered that when he had cancer, because he was a very good giver but not very good receiver. And when you have cancer, or you can, when you're in the Austin hospital, all you can do is receive, and you get to see how loved you are. So your soul and everything that we have in our whole universe is already provided for. So when you go into nature, everything's there. You don't have to fix nature. Something goes wrong, the soil knows how to heal. Everything knows how to repair. The same in your body. If you have a cut, you don't look at it and go, I need to send platelets there and then I need to stitch it up. No, your body goes about repairing that. So have a think about that. If our outside reality, our universe, our world knows how to repair and heal itself, and our body knows how to heal itself, why wouldn't we also be given all the information to have our life work? And one of the really lovely things is that we were already born with our special code, and that is actually our birth date. And people say, oh, yeah, but that's just numerology. And yeah, numerology has a place, but it isn't. Everything has a code. If you go into nature, there is a Fibonacci sequence and a ratio 5 in everything that is around us, and also in our body. This knuckle to this knuckle is to the ratio 5. 1 is to 1.618. So everything has a number sequence. Even illnesses have a number sequence that unlocks code to harmonise the disinformation about why you've got an illness. So you came with a number code, which gives you all the gifts that you have to go through your journey of life. And
wow. I can just imagine, like, it's for me, I'm like yourself. I love numbers. I studied all of it at school and went on to do more math and think it was math that I love, but it wasn't the actual math. It's this spiritual side of numbers that I am more attracted to. And so I can just imagine the people listening will find that now this story that you're telling is starting to go, shoo! Because it is. It's full on. It's something that we're not taught at school. We're not told this in our younger years. And now we're all starting to learn about how to find the path back to taking care of ourselves. We're learning about holding space. This is something very new we've been saying over the last few years for ourselves and for others. And we're also understanding now that we need to contribute, not just always, I want, or give. It's about what are we going to serve to the earth, to the people, so that that's our way of giving, and then the universe, Mother Nature or life, will reward us. So I feel like that's what I've been working on, and going back to something like at the moment with me, my liver went totally shot recently because all I did was give and I didn't put myself first. And I thought I was doing really well. I thought this is my contribution, but what I was doing was I was putting myself on hold, and that's what we're not meant to be doing. That's when dis-eases come, because now I'm dissolving the dis and becoming at ease. And back with cancer too, it's affected me directly by having someone in my life have it as well. And that particular person is learning their lessons in life, and that woke me up to realize I need to put myself first. But then now you're going on into something, this number system that I feel we need to just. Can you, Mariam, tone it down a bit, bring it down and make it really simple, bring it back to basics, and let's start small. Okay. Like you said, with our birth date. Let's go there.
All right. Let me just to go back to something that you said then, Lisa, was that when we have a lot of people come to us and ask about, because we run courses in all of this, obviously, and they ask us, like, how can I help everyone else? And we say, well, it actually starts with you. You actually have to help you. Because you're resonating at a different frequency, that affects the whole field around you. So if you can imagine that you have a huge 5-meter area around you, that is where you create your whole world. It's like a matrix. And sometimes you have programs that sit there, and you have information that helps to drive the things in your life, and also give you some challenges. So numbers help to unlock that. And so if you want to know why you're here and what you're meant to do, it starts with your birth date. So can I use your birth date as an example?
Sure, let's do this. Okay. Oh my God, everyone's going to know. I'm just so social and out there. I don't care. 24.
Yes.
02.
02.
Yeah, 02, 1980.
1980.
Everyone knows now my birth date. Make sure you're sending me lots of love on that day.
So these are the gifts that you've come to the planet with to help you. And then the numbers that are missing out of your birth date are here, what you're here to master. So you're missing a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, and a 7. Okay, so I'm going to explain that. And all right, so you have a 1, and 1 is about beginnings and creation. So you're very good with coming up with an idea. And you have 2 2s, and 2s are about action. So you're very good at coming up with ideas and putting them into action.
Oh, yeah, I try to.
And then in the past, because you might have mastered this by now, in the past, you would question whether your idea is the right idea for you if it hasn't turned up with the result that you want. And then you would start something new and put that into action. And sometimes you get trapped in, especially when you're coming from your left brain, you get trapped in, I'm not too sure whether this is the right thing for me. Maybe because it's not working how I think it should. Maybe I'm in the wrong idea, and I need to start something new and put it into action. And so here's where your first missing number comes up, which is 3. 3 is about persistence and results. So how you master that is, sure, you have an idea and you put it into action, but you also need to continue down the journey, the path, and see how it unfolds until you get a result. And when you look back and go, oh gosh, look what I created, what I've learned. Okay, I do this. Because you notice it with kids, you give them a toy and they go, oh, I'm over this, let me go on to something else. And especially if you know they haven't got a 3 in their birthday, you can come back and go, okay, now sit down, let's finish this, pack it up, and then before we move it on to something.
It's also about being consistent and showing up all the time.
Yeah, well, for you, you do show up, you do put into action, but you need to follow through.
Yeah, and be consistent. That's something, honestly, that I do need to keep working on a bit. I've mastered what I do as a holistic beauty therapist in my salon, always, consistently being there. But now with this podcasting, I have to make it consistent. Once a week, I have to get it out there. So for a person that has a 3 in their numbers, they're actually good at that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So I need to find someone with a 3.
Or master your own.
Okay. Oh, hold on. Let's take that back. It's all about me now.
It's all about you.
Yeah, so I love myself completely unconditionally and don't need anybody.
You're missing a 4, and 4 is about your connection with your outer world. So I also miss a 4. So this is what would happen to me. If I went into a new social area and to a party or something and I didn't know somebody, I'd rather go and help in the kitchen until I scattered around and had a look and saw somebody that I felt okay with. And then I'd go up to them, and when I felt like it was okay, then my guard would come down, and then you'd get to see all of me. People with a missing 4 will wheel out the little bit that they think people want to see, but they don't reveal all of themselves because they don't actually feel safe in the outer world.
Well, that's not me, but I do notice years ago, if I went to a party or anywhere, even at university or at school, I'd always, scope around to see before I spoke, because I was scared what I was going to say is actually going to offend somebody. But these days, this year especially, I've just been going, blah, letting it all out all over social media, and I'm mastering that. And now I am okay with sharing my true self.
Yep.
So I'm mastering my number 4.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And so mastering your 4 is about going into the outside world, and what other people think about you is none of your business. You're okay being with you. And I notice, like, for instance, my grandsons miss a 4. So they ask questions like, where are we going? Who's going to be there? They need to know the detail. Yeah. And that's because they're not feeling safe in the outside world.
Okay.
So 5, you're missing a 5, and 5 is about connection with your inner self. So this is creating healthy boundaries, learning to love you, putting you first. And that's not looking in the mirror and going, I love you. That's about truly loving all the parts of you, even the bits that you give yourself a hard time for.
Wow, this is all confirmation. I've been talking about all this stuff. It's very cool stuff you're talking about. Okay, so
so that was number 5. Now you're missing a 6. And we like number 6s in our workshop because 6s is the base of light, the foundation of knowledge. So you have thought in the past that other people have more knowledge than you. Yeah. So you head off to the workshop or ask a guru or somebody else what you should do in your life. I had that experience because I don't have a 6, and I remember I made a very big decision earlier on in my life, and I asked the next door neighbour, a girlfriend of mine, what I should do. And I acted on it. And, 20 years down the track, she turned that around and said, geez, you're a bad mum. And I thought, oh, my God, I just listened to you. And like, oh, my God, I'm not listening to anybody more. So how you master the 6 is when you realise actually the knowledge is within. It's actually in your soul. Your soul has all the knowledge, and it's not hard to have a conversation. It's not the angels are coming down and all of a sudden you hear heavenly music. Seriously, it's simply asking yourself some easy yes or no questions, and your soul answers almost before you've finished asking the question. It's your intuition. You follow that, and that makes it very easy to make decisions. I even do it for breakfast in reference to my body. Does my body want porridge this morning? Yes or no? I hear a no, and I go, oh shit, well, I really wanted that.
And you're just like, I was thinking this is so good for when we're cooking dinner for the kids, for mums and dads, grandparents, anyone really. You get home and you're like, don't even bother about asking everyone what they want. Just stop, breathe, and go, okay, what am I cooking tonight? And then just, the answer, and just make life easier.
Yep. So you're missing a 7, and 7 is the power of love. So you will have done things because you should or you have to. You won't have done it because you love to. For the people that have a 7, like I have a 7 in my birthday, so I can't do anything that I don't love or see a purpose to. If I don't love it, I won't even bother. When you put your love, like you're doing your podcast, when you put your love into what you're doing, beautiful synchronistic things happen. You start to resonate from your heart. You're sending out into the world your love. And then that is returned to you, and beautiful little things turn up in your life. Absolutely. So there.
Well, so I do know, like, this is something that I do guide my people and people that are following, that we do need to serve our values. And if something is not serving, if as a person isn't serving our values and giving us a way into the future, we need to close that door on that person. Yes. It depends on how you close the door. There are a lot of different ways in doing that, Facebook blocking or unfriending, unfollowing. But if it's the neighbour, there's other ways. And so in saying this, I feel that that what you're saying is definitely what people are going to understand in this number 7, was it? It's number 7?
Yeah.
That in order to be rewarded, you do need to close that door, because you're just going to stay stagnant. And I think that's what you mean for me. I need to master that. I need to work on that, because I have this year very much so been closing those doors. And the sooner I do it, like as soon as I remember what I'm doing for myself, it comes to me like so quickly. Like sometimes I used to wait days or weeks or months. Now it happens at the same time. I would like unfollow someone, and then a new person pops up and says, I want to be on your podcast. And I'm like, whoa, that is amazing.
Yeah, well, and that's just one way of just demonstrating it. So when you're really coming from your heart and you're doing the things that you love, then you watch, as I said, beautiful things happen. And I agree, there's sometimes in your life, for instance, I'm more a sensitive person, so not that meaning that I'm empathic. So sometimes I have taken on energy, and you would do this too, being a beauty therapist. We've both been beauty therapists.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's our background.
So, and that's the difference between knowing when you're clear and calm and then when you've picked up from other people. And that's a whole nother story. So let's just finish.
Okay, that's good. Yep.
Yeah. And then eight is about timing. So when you have got an 8. So when you come up with an idea and take the action and be persistent with it, your timing is always right.
Yes, and it's coming from, say, a coaching or mentoring world. I find that a lot of people have said to me, "You've got to do it now. Just throw it out there." And it's been a year or a year and a half since I've been creating this, and not one person ever said to me, "Just do it when you're ready." Because that's how I teach my people, is to say, you got to find the right time. You got to feel. And now that I understand, it's because I have an 8. I'm going to have to look at their numbers to see if they've got an 8. Then I'll be able to be more empathetic to say, you have to be ready. But if they don't have an 8,
well, if they haven't got an 8, the idea might be good, the action might be good, but the timing is right. Just like their puzzles, like, I need to meet Lisa and this needs to happen. And then when this happens, then it's the right timing.
okay.
So they will have had to learn patience.
So I've got patience.
Yep.
Oh my God. Okay. I do have a lot of patience.
It can be contextual, I suppose.
Depends what I'm doing.
You also have a 9, and 9 is your connection to whatever you call it, creator, source. You have a connection. But the children that don't have a 9 in their birth date, it's up to us to teach them that there is something that there's guiding them. Because a lot of the kids feel disconnected now, and they feel like there's nothing that's supporting them. And even though they know parents there, but in the bigger picture, I talk to my 2 grandkids, they're 11 and 9, and I talk about their angel and creator and nature and all that. So they have a concept of that. So that's the 9. And you also have 2 zeros. And zeros are transition numbers. They're like portals of change. And you have them around your 4 and 2, and also, you have got a 4. Why did I talk about the 4 before? Because you have got a 4 in your birthday.
Oh, I should have known that.
I should have known that. You have it around your 4 and your 2 and your 8. So you transform through your interactions in the outer world, through your actions, and it's always the right time.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Just to go back on 9s, because you were saying, and it made sense, parents these days, their children don't have 9s. Let's say my age group in the 30s were born in 1980, and the next generation was 1990s. So they've got lots of 9s.
Very protected they are.
So it worked out well, because the people born in the 1990s are probably having children now that don't have any 9s. So they're the ideal parent to teach them that.
There's a connection. I mean, the kids are coming in with more gifts. The kids are coming in with more gifts. They definitely are. And if you actually do their birth dates, they've actually generally have more than 4 or 5 numbers. Most people born in the 1900s have about 4 numbers, but then you notice the kids will have lots of zeros and maybe only 2 numbers, so there might be six numbers. But they come with other gifts. But they also, when you know what your kids are missing, you can help to guide them as well. And if you actually did your daughter and your parents and any other siblings, you will find that as a family there are some common numbers in your birth date that you're all working out. So I don't have a 2. I'm actually good with 2, but Brian has a 2. So
this is so interesting. For people that are watching now, if they wanted to learn more about this, where would we send them to?
So it's a formula, www.e, and then spell the word equals, V for Victor, S for Sam.com.au. So we have our 3-day workshop broken up into 3 webinar series. So you can choose to do 1 webinar series, or 2, or the whole 3. But the Soul Code webinar is a good foundation and gives you some tools to work with. So you get all your 8 hours of videos, a manual, and some slide notes to go. And of course, you can ask me as many questions as you like.
Oh, beautiful. Excellent. Marion, this has been an absolute delight. Thank you so much for personalizing this podcast as well and helping me learn more about myself and about my daughter, because in the end, I was actually doing all the numbers as well for her. Yeah, it's been a delight.
It's a pleasure. Good luck with your journey with your podcast. You're doing very well.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Well, everybody, this is Marianne May, so I'll put up the details later on for you up in the post or in the comments. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Stay delicious, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.